Selling isn't what you do, it's what you don't do. Most sales pages get conversions of 1 or 2%. Most people consider this to be the industry standard. If you're doing this, it's considered acceptable, and you can't do much to improve it. Most people accept this. But is this really true? It's been shown that people spend 9 times as much money to get traffic than they do converting the traffic. For example, they may spend a couple $1,000 getting a landing page designed, and then spend $18,000 over the course of a year paying for traffic through various advertising. If 1 or 2% conversions generates more than 18 grand in revenues, it's considered a successful campaign. To be sure, the holy grail of advertising is to make more money than your advertising costs, but is this always the right course of action? Consider this. There was a very popular book written several years ago called High Probability Selling. In this book, the author, Jacques Worth, demonstrated some very effective cold calling techniques. The actual techniques aren't important for the scope of this article, but the statistics are. He found that for any product, between 1 and 2% of the general population would be interested. Think about that for a minute. Any product, when presented effectively, will generate interest in 1 to 2% of the general population. That means if you take any weight loss product and use his techniques to call people out of the phone book, you'll get about a 1 or 2% response. Compare this to a highly targeted sales page. Warm, and sometimes hot traffic that is already interested in the product is only converting at 1 or 2%. What's going on? Could it be that sales pages are actually turning customers off? After all, if a cold caller can get a 2% response from the phone book, and a highly targeted sales page is getting the same response, something must be wrong, right? After all, you'd think that a highly targeted sales page would be getting conversion of 10 or 20%. Why don't they? There was a famous experiment where they actually tested the negative effects of an ad. They took a postcard, which they thought was a persuasive ad for a particular brand of car. They chose some zip codes at random and put that postcard in various magazines in those zip codes. Guess what? In those zip codes, where people were exposed to that targeted advertisement, people actually bought less cars. The highly targeted ad had a negative impact on sales. Could it be that many of those highly targeted sales pages are doing the same thing? Could it be that instead of converting warm leads into sales, they're actually converting warm leads into cold leads? What would happen if you turned your focus around? What would happen if, instead of trying to persuade your readers to buy, you tried to do things that wouldn't dissuade them? What if instead of trying to pull them in, all you had to do was to make sure you weren't pushing them away?